Welcome to Finding Wisdom again. We are back representing Queens, and this is Melina Cantor and Dr. Devika Prasad coming back to you with Queens Diabetes Information. So with that said, we are here to finding new healthy beginnings. So healthy beginnings. Most cultures start their mornings with tea. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to show you a couple really great new recipes. And look, this is amazing herbal tea, and Devika's going to tell us all about it. What's in it?
What's in that is water brewed with cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves. In the West Indies, no one drinks simple water in a tea bag. We always jack up our tea, and we make it as healthy as possible and as tasty as possible.
So we're starting with tea. So let's see what it looks like in our tea cup. It's really beautiful colors. You said some cloves. What kind of cloves?
Just regular, spiced cloves. In my household, we call it spiced tea. I first made this for my children when they were little at Christmas time, and everybody laughingly calls it Christmas tea in my house now.
Okay, so it's always Christmas every day, every week. That's really great, because I know in a lot of times in Europe, in my part of the world, we drink a lot of tea that's brewed, that's not exactly in tea bags, exactly the same way that it's presented here, but nevertheless, we always start with a great cup of tea. You warm up the soul, you warm up the stomach. That's what they always say. So, what are we doing today? Would love to share with you something that we do for breakfast, and I think it would be great for some of the diabetics to kind of learn other options that maybe they're not used to, and then they could also find this in American supermarkets. Have you ever heard of farmer cheese?
I've heard of it, I've never had it. So
okay.
This will be a new experience for me.
Well, I think what's really great, it's a cultured cheese, so it's not quite, when you think of cheese and Munster cheese or other cheeses that we're used to for sandwiches, this is more breakfast food. And you mentioned children, that's what we used to do and always do for our children when they're young. And what I think the thought is that when you're fasting for so many hours, the best thing for your stomach is some probiotics that are kind of get within the cheese when you make it. And the way you make this is, the milk has to go bad, and the cream rises, and then we scoop that up, put it in a cheesecloth, and then the longer it sits there, it solidifies. And this is what it's presented later. So it's not quite sour, it's not quite sweet, it's kind of in between.
And definitely not smelling like Munster cheese.
No, not Munster cheese. So the way, and I think what's great, and we're going to talk about carb counting maybe in the future episodes, because it's really important for the patients to really understand that if they learn how to do that, then they could really do a better job managing their diabetes and maybe the spikes with the sugars. So what I would do, or Mom used to do, is you get this is the kind that comes in American supermarkets. And other places, you can buy it by pound, you can buy it by other ways. You could buy maybe less than this, but usually this is a good beginning. So you would get a little bit for maybe, this is one portion, but I would probably cook for maybe 1 or 2 people. But since there's quite a few of us, you just get a little bit of cheese and you place it, and then you just try to make it a little bit softer. It's not very hard. See, the consistency, it's kind of between the cottage cheese and I don't know, it's not buttery, it's not, I think it's much better feel, and you'll tell me.
It has the look of whipped butter.
Not
no, it has
quite.
the look of it. Not
Try
the
it. Try it before I do all these things. I'll add to it.
Let's do this.
And then you tell me what you think so far. I like it just the way it is. What do you think?
Very nice. Not very salty at all.
No.
Not grainy at all.
In fact, in terms of sodium, it's only 120 milligrams.
Excellent.
And we could definitely decipher what's good, what's bad, because there's a lot of guidelines of how many. But it's 4 grams of protein per serving, so I think that's a really good thing. Then I would grab a little bit of sour cream. You'll learn a lot of Russian cuisine, we cannot live without our sour cream.
Okay.
I think it's a magic product, but that's me.
It's definitely not something that's typical in Indian cooking.
No, I see, because I think it's too many cultured things, and I think we eat a lot of dairy. Maybe that's one of the reasons there's a lot of diabetes in my part of the world too. But there's ways of making it better. So see how I'm just gonna putting it all together, and Mom would do it with a spoon, but I have a fork. So what would be next is you would have a little cracker, or most likely we would have whole wheat or rye bread. And this would be a spreadable paste or spreadable dessert. I like to think of it as dessert because I used to think, oh, I get to eat something sweet for breakfast. So this is not sweet yet. This is completely unsweetened. So you have a couple of options. We talked about sugar substitutes, but if there are some precautions or maybe some reasons you do not like it, because there's a lot of immigrants, they don't consider this sugar. And I completely agree with them because sometimes it takes a little time to get used to it. What are your thoughts on these sugar substitutes as a physician? What do you say to your patients?
As a physician, I'm really not a big fan of them because honestly, a lot of them are just chemicals. That's just not natural for your body. And there's recent studies with aspartame that it says it can be carcinogenic in, concentrated doses. So I prefer patients use honey. I would prefer them not use sugar at all if possible.
Okay, so when they're starting maybe small steps, a couple alternatives for honey, and I know when I start eating honey, it's not usually like 1 spoon. If it's good honey, it could be a little bit more than that, right? So I found these, I don't know if you guys ever seen these, but it's called honey in the straw, so you know you're getting 1 serving, and it's exact 1 carb exchange. It's like 16 grams per stick. Excellent. It's not a lot, but you know what, usually it'll give you that good feeling. So the way, I open it like this, and then you could just squeeze into your dish. And this is clove honey. There's other ways. There's I think there's a couple other honeys. We have buckwheat honey.
They have a lot of flavors that they put in them now.
Yeah. So would somebody from West Indies try this and eat this? What do you think?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm hoping.
We love cheeses in the West Indies. I can tell you that.
What other cheeses? Are they homemade or they're more in the dairy section?
They're more in the dairy section. We tend to like, in the West Indies, we tend to really like a lot of, we call it Dutch head cheese, cheeses from Holland. Gouda, Fontina, those are Edam cheeses. Those are the most popular.
With an E. I've seen that before. So would that be a breakfast or be something like a lunch too?
Breakfast and or lunch. We really have no particular time of day.
But I think the whole point of this show, and then you're going to share with me something very, very traditional from West Indies. If we start our mornings with a full stomach, with something that we're used to, something from our culture, more likely we will not be too hungry during the afternoon. We will not have a lot of spikes. And more importantly, my biggest concern is that when the evening time comes, that's not the pig out all for all, because then we're hungry, right?
Absolutely.
So this is it's farmer cheese with some sour cream and honey, and then you could spread it, and then the other couple other things that I brought, and this is very American. So I think you would agree, it's nature's candy. I brought some cranberries, and we always talk about what's great for our brain and what's really important to really keep satiety, and I think we don't have enough natural fats in our diet, so I brought some walnuts.
Absolutely.
So 60% of our brain is composed of fat. I was just reading it in one of my recent journals, and nature has given us this amazing nut, and if you look at it opened, it always reminds me of the 2 hemispheres.
It looks like ruga of a brain. It's so true.
It is, isn't it? Yes. Like exactly the 2 hemispheres together. So that could be the natural sweetener too. And a lot of times we could just be really creative with the dishes that we know, but then mix it up and spice it up and dress it up. I think this way, and then it looks a little bit better. So how would we eat it? If we were presenting it to a big crowd and we have a lot of people over, this would probably be in a little bit of a pretty dish, but maybe we would make it, individual. Sometimes if you know how many people you're having, I think this is breakfast. It doesn't have to be that dressy, but a lot of times some people may like it on the bread that we talked about. There's quite a bit of bread eating in my part of the world. That's something that we need to cut out. But nevertheless, we can't just go from not eating bread completely. So if I were to make suggestions, and that's what I'm trying to do, with my breakfast at times, is just maybe just 1 slice, and then this way you can modify how many carbs and how many calories.
And we're talking whole grain or whole wheat?
Well, maybe the next time I can bring you and I'll show you. It's actually rye. It's very large and it's round and it has slices, and it's a completely brown wheat. So, and it's extremely good and it's wonderful. I think there's quite a few benefits to it versus the choices that we have here. Okay. So, but I think right now, a cup of tea in this, we already have some sugar in there. I think that should be plenty. And then when we would plate it, I'd like to always recommend having fruit instead of fruit juices.
Absolutely.
And part of the reason is you're getting the fiber from the fruit and you don't get the immediate spikes of the sugars right away because you are eating an actual fruit. And I wanted to always do this because I watched so many Food Network shows and quite a few Martha Stewart episodes. But this is how she taught me to cut an orange, and I can't cut an orange any other ways anymore. So, and you could actually get the slices right away, immediate. So
I think you're doing a very good job with this.
You like it?
I think you're doing a great job.
I think it's becoming like the go-to tradition. And you guys see also lemon here. What's the lemon for? So Davicus tea is already prepared and it has amazing spices in it. But if we were just to have plain tea, just brewed tea, a lot of times in the former Soviet Union and in Russia, we always have a slice of lemon. So there's quite a bit of citrus. And citrus is excellent. And tell me something. I've heard this and I read the studies because they say quite a bit of citrus in your daily intake, especially for men with regards to calcification and if they're prone to some stones. Have you heard anything about that?
Actually, vitamin C in general, or citrus in general, is good. It has many health benefits. It's an immune booster, one.
Right.
And recent studies have shown that it's an appetite suppressant.
Interesting.
So it speeds your metabolism up, and for any of us who are trying to, lose weight,
right,
or control our appetite,
right,
it's actually a very nice boost as part of your morning breakfast.
So, the old people and more importantly, our ancestors knew it best.
Absolutely.
They had better ideas and better nutrition. So I would go like this, and now we would cut out just immediate. So you know how the kids are getting finicky. Oh, I don't want to eat this part, I don't want to eat this part. So you could just have this perfect little sliver of orange next to your dish and then enjoy it.
Very nice.
That's it. So that's our breakfast and a healthier version.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to learning how we could share the wealth and make the world even smaller. So what do you have in store for us today? I'll finish this up and I'll clean it. And then maybe you could get started.
Well, I wish West Indian breakfast were as light as Russian breakfast, but unfortunately,
no, trust me. This is. I learned how to modify it. This is my version of what I remembered could be the best version for the patients with diabetes. You should see what they could possibly eat.
Okay.
All right.
This is actually a very typical West Indian breakfast, especially in our household. This is what we make on a Sunday morning. It's actually something called baigan choka. Baigan is the Indian word for eggplant, and there's a lot of different eggplants. Now, we know eggplants in general are very high in antioxidants. It's an excellent vegetable. And the way it's made, very, very simple. It's the easiest thing to do. I'm going to borrow your knife, please.
Okay, because it's going to have a little orange.
I know, it's okay. I'm going to clean it out for you. You score the eggplant, and what you're going to use in there, and the reason you're going to score it, one, it roasts faster, and two, we're going to put some fresh raw garlic. Now, we know garlic is excellent for the heart. It's awesome for your digestion as well.
Yes.
So it's just cram it in there.
Wow, I've never seen it. We do that with the meat. When I do some kind of a roast.
Yeah, I do it with fish as well.
I do that. That's how I would put my garlic in it.
You cut the garlic in about 3-4 pieces and just put it in there, just stuffing the eggplant essentially.
Interesting.
Very, very simple to do. It's the easiest thing. Some people put olive oil on top. I really don't do that because I do something different with olive oil when the dish is finished.
Interesting.
The simplest thing to do, get some aluminum foil, wrap the eggplant in there, and you're going to roast it over a high flame.
How many minutes?
An eggplant of this size usually takes about a good 10, 15, 20 minutes tops.
Now, this is a West Indian eggplant? You said there are many varieties.
There's different types. There's Sicilian eggplant, which is the large purple one, round ones.
A little lighter shade of purple.
I actually tried this with the yellow eggplant for the first time this summer, and it was awesome. Very, very meaty consistency. This is a typical West Indian eggplant.
We have, it's called snake eggplant. It's white. It's like greenish white. It's really long, and it's very, very different texture.
I've never tried that, but I definitely will. I try all different things.
I'll get it for you.
Okay.
That would be good.
All right, so now we put this over a hot flame. We leave this on here for a good 15 minutes. You rotate it, and so that touch to feel to make sure it becomes soft because you want all the quadrants to cook. While our eggplant is grilling, I think it's good time for us to start preparing our roti. Now, a lot of people think roti is this complicated dish. It really is the simplest thing to cook.
Now, I see there's two-tone flour.
There's two-tone flour. We have whole wheat flour and just a little bit of white flour to give it a little consistency. That way it won't be too granular and too grainy.
I see. Now, I agree with you. It's a much better choice to
Yes.
use whole wheat flour. Would people take that extra step to do it?
Whole wheat flour is a little more expensive, but the health benefits far outweigh the cost.
Now, what about the taste? Can you tell the difference between,
Absolutely not.
not the texture, the taste itself?
The same way you get used to wheat bread, the same way you're going to get used to wheat roti. It's really quite delicious once you get used to it.
Interesting.
Yep. Now what we're
Alright.
going to do, for people who don't want to use wheat flour, you can use the cheater's way so you don't get the concentration of the baking powder. You can buy self-rising flour. I don't do that because I do use wheat flour.
I see.
So what we're
then
gonna do-
baking soda or
Not baking soda,
baking powder. Yes,
Right.
yes.
So what we're going to do, I have 2 teaspoons in here. So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit on top with a little bit of water. You can mix 2 ways. You can use a spoon or you can use your hands. I'm old-fashioned. I learned how to do
Hands.
it with my hands, so
Yes.
we're going to
take
do
the
it with our
rings off.
hands.
Let's just get in, right?
That's it.
That's how I would.
You mix the flour until it becomes like dough.
I see.
Now, I have a wonderful cousin in Rockland County, and what she taught me was the cheater's way to do roti. The cheater's way to do roti is if you have a bread maker, you can put all the ingredients, the exact same things in a bread maker, and you just let it roll the dough for you, and it's so much easier, so much cleaner, so much faster.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Now, is there a setting for roti, or what setting
No,
would it be?
exactly, because you're essentially just making dough.
Bread.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, the whole point is if we could try to stay away, at least if this is the carb of choice, this is how I look at it. The earlier we start, hopefully later you will not need it as much during the day.
Absolutely.
So even though you are presenting something for breakfast with doughy type of substance,
Yes.
that's one of the reasons I didn't bring any bread, because I feel like, okay, if I start with it, then you develop the taste for it. I had a really good colleague who's an endocrinologist, and he said it's all about the matter of choice.
Yes.
But then it's a matter of constantly training your brain. Okay, I don't have that taste anymore.
Right.
I'm not interested in it anymore. Or if I am, I know how to choose in moderation.
Right.
So now you're just making.
You're gonna roll it into dough.
I want to try.
Would you like to try?
Yes,
Okay.
it's gonna be a little orangey. Look, I
want
made
it?
a flower.
That's beautiful.
Yay!
When it comes to diabetes, what I normally tell my patients is eat breakfast like a king, eat lunch like a prince, and eat dinner like a pauper.
Interesting.
If you'd like to
We have a
give it a shot.
similar saying. So,
get in there and get dirty.
so in Russian it says like this. In Russian it says, eat breakfast alone, share lunch with a friend, and then give dinner to an enemy. So same idea.
I think I like mine better.
Yeah, yours is better. Russians are, a little more direct.
Okay, since you're doing such a great job rolling that, and the consistency is great, so let's just make a little ball here,
I see.
and let's make some roti, shall we?
Let's try.
Okay, you're doing a good job.
My first roti!
Yay!
Yay! I feel like I'm in the Caribbean already. In West Indies. So, how broad is, let's say, the foods between Guyana, let's say Suriname, and other parts of, let's say, South America that are close to you? Would you say that's pretty consistent, or is it closer to, let's say, West Indies?
Well, West Indian food, Suriname is so close to, directly across the river actually.
Right,
so
right.
close to Guyana, and a lot of Guyanese ended up settling in Suriname.
Interesting.
So the food is pretty much, I would say, exactly the same. But there's a lot of Chinese food that's mixed into Suriname food.
Why? More
Well, because
immigration?
there's a lot of Orientals did settle
I
in
didn't
that
know
era.
that.
Yeah, it's a very nice mixed ethnic population there.
Interesting.
All right, so we've got our dough.
Yep.
And I had made
These
these
are
before, so let's
perfect.
just, they're perfect actually. So let's start cooking, shall we?
Yeah, let's
All right,
see.
we're gonna put this in a little flour, just so it doesn't get too sticky and yucky. And we're gonna roll roti.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're gonna really
A
get
little
to
rolling pin action here, here we go.
I haven't seen
All
that.
right.
The next episode, it's not diabetes friendly, but maybe I'll show you how we make vareniki. So that's the same idea.
Okay. Now we try to get it as round as possible, but your tummy can't tell the difference among the shapes, so don't worry about it. There we
So
go.
is this the specific cutting board for that too?
I like this because, you know, it's a pastry board and it really doesn't have that much stick. Some people use wood. I like the pastry boards much, much better. And I actually like the pastry rolling pins better than the wooden rolling pins. It really doesn't.
Because then you don't need to put that much, a lot of flour
not too
on
much
it.
flour. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Okay, so
I've
we're
cooked before.
finished.
I think I have.
Yeah.
Not like this. This is fun.
Okay, rolled and ready to go. About as round as I'm going to get it.
Okay.
It's pretty much going to look like this.
So then what do you do?
Well, then we take the flour off of the pastry board and then we put it on the stove to cook.
Right.
And then the flour will start to rise because the baking powder is in there. And, you know, you wait till it gets a little bit of color. And
now, what's the difference between roti and kulcha? Because I've had some Indian kulcha and it has onions within.
That's it. You actually hit it right on the nose. You can stuff this thing with pretty much anything.
How would you do that? Would you cut it underneath?
Nope. What you do is when you have the dough like this, you spread it out a little bit.
Yes.
Just like this.
Okay.
And then you would take whatever you want to stuff it with, put it inside, and then enclose it in there. And then you roll it out. Easy. When we were little children, this is so unhealthy and it's probably the worst thing to say at a diabetic show. We used to make something called sugar roti, and our moms would stuff this with sugar.
Oh my.
Yes, oh my is right.
Well, but you know what?
Explains a lot.
But for the kids, that's why for our children, we try to make better choices, right?
I agree.
Okay. Well, maybe.
But this is awesome with stuffed with potatoes.
Oof.
It's awesome.
Potatoes? Don't have to tell a Russian about potatoes.
You season potatoes with ground cumin, onions,
grate a
garlic,
potato?
salt. You mash, like how you would make mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Mash the potatoes up. Season it with ground cumin, onion, garlic, a little touch of pepper, a little bit of salt. Stuff it in here, roll it up, and just roll it out and cook it, and it is to die for.
Could potato be substituted for cauliflower?
I've never tried mashing cauliflower, so
And
I
that's
don't know
what I
how
do
it would-
instead of mashed potatoes.
Really? Okay.
Yes, my new thing is mashed cauliflower.
You know what? I will try it and I'll let you know how it works.
If you do it with cream, it's the same consistency, and they don't know it.
I'll try it.
It's a little, and it's, you know, if you add all the other ingredients. So that's an interesting idea too. All right, but we'll stick to healthy today.
So are we ready to get this on the stove?
Yeah, let's
make
try.
some roti.
Yay!
All right. All right, let's get this on the stove, shall we?
Yay, let's do it.
Okay.
So you're completing the roti.
Yes, we're finishing this up.
How quick? That was really quick.
It really is not that hard or that long
But
to
I'm telling
do.
you, I've never seen this specific type of pan that you're using, and we just discussed it. It's quite. Oh, what are you doing there?
We're trying to get the heat to make the roti rise a little bit. Sometimes I give it a little extra flame, or just a little higher flame, just to get it to raise up a little bit.
That's an interesting technique.
Yeah, it works.
It does.
And don't forget, we have our eggplant grilling as well, so we have to check on that as well. So let me take this off, and let's check on our eggplant. And it really has a very nice, soft consistency, so it's almost pretty much finished. Just give it a little extra heat.
Interesting. Oh, there it
There
is.
you
It's
go.
swelling.
Here we are. Oh, perfect. Coming up nice. Just rotate it a little bit because you really don't want it to burn. You just want it to get all
Swell
that.
beautifully.
Yeah, swell beautifully.
Wow.
There we go.
That's magic. And now it's done.
And we have a beautiful, nice roti. Okay. Since our eggplant is finished, let's take it off the burner. And we're going to put it right here on the same pastry board. And we're going to strip the eggplant, essentially. Let's take all of this foil off. Now, remember, it's pretty hot, so be real careful.
But it's done a good job.
It does an awesome job. It smells great. I mean, I like grilled anything, so.
Yes, and
There you go. And it's all nice and mushy.
very nice.
Yes. Let's take all of this off. Boom.
Oh, I see.
There you go. Now, since it's already scored, it's really easy to get in there and scoop the contents out.
So you're not using the skin.
No, you're not using the skin. You're scooping everything out. Now, it's infused with the flavor of the garlic.
Right.
If you can take a
Keep-
look, the
keep-
garlic is roasted in there.
You're gonna keep it, right?
Yes, we're keeping all of it because we're going to mush all that up and
Good.
See, just scoop it. Just scoop all the contents out. That's it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Put that in your bowl. It's very, very nice. It almost like a meaty consistency.
Yeah. A lot of times I hear a lot of people who are vegetarians now. They say the eggplant and tofu, and they have that kind of, they don't miss the taste of the...
No, you really don't. And I think eggplant is a very, aside from, everyone knows how to do eggplant parmesan, but very few people know what else to do with it.
Right. No, I agree. You know, the baba ganoush, it's a creamy version of that.
Yes.
Then we have Turkish salad, almost, it's called matbucha. I don't know if you've heard of that. That's also Middle Eastern. And it's a little bit of a red. It's not grilled just by itself. I think you add the red peppers and a lot of oils and a lot of really good stuff. So,
Okay.
Okay, so next.
To finish this off, we're going to put a little bit of onions.
Oh, you already did it.
And we pre-chipped some onions. Just sprinkle a little bit in there.
Good.
Some people use really hot peppers, especially Indians and West Indians. So we're going to put it on the side because I don't think Melina's palate.
No, I'm hot peppered.
You're a hot pepper girl?
Yes, are you kidding
We'll
me?
try it later. This is really hot pepper.
No. I could have Thai food. I've in the giant with you.
Yes, you have. You really have. That's so true.
My palate has been trained.
Now remember we talked about the olive oil. So what I do with olive oil is a little touch of extra virgin olive oil.
Yes, now you're doing it.
We have some minced garlic. They're diced very, very fine in here. I put a little touch of garlic here.
Olive oil.
Olive oil in the garlic.
I like this. How you doing in a ladle? I've never seen that before.
And this you put over a hot flame. We're going to put this over low to medium flame.
So that's why you're doing it in a ladle.
Yes, I do in the ladle.
I think that's a great idea. And
Just heat, it takes barely 10 to 15 seconds to heat up.
Right, because I know if you cook garlic too long, it burns quickly.
And it'll get a bitter consistency also. So you want to caramelize it just a little, but not too much.
Got it. So now it makes a lot of sense. So now I can hear it sizzling.
It sizzles beautifully and it smells even better. And you just right on top there.
Beautiful.
Yes, and you can smell it.
Yeah, I don't even need to be this low. This is amazing.
Yes.
Love it.
So now we're going to mush that up.
I have a ladle like that too.
Yeah, you do?
The little baby one.
Yeah. Let's take, there's a little bit of skin kind of got caught in there, so we'll take
I like
that
the
out.
skin from the eggplant. Thank you.
I actually do also, but it kind of doesn't work in this dish.
So let's talk about eggplant. And what I know about eggplant, it's a nightshade plant.
Okay.
It's in the same family as tomatoes. So they're all nightshade, same as peppers.
You actually know a lot more about eggplant than I do.
So
that's good.
They're grown. That means they get their growth spurt always at night.
Yes, that I do know.
What I have been reading is that you know, like you said, it has really good antioxidants, and the brighter the vegetable,
The more purple, the healthier for you.
the more healthy for
There
you.
you
So
go.
that's that.
Yes.
That we know for sure.
We're going to put a little bit of salt.
Now.
Not too much salt,
Exactly.
just a little bit of salt. So I kind of do the sprinkle as opposed to the pour.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now that's
Just a little bit.
Now is salt, quite a bit of salt used in your type of cooking?
Oh, incredible amount. So we usually try to put pepper to offset the salt, though.
Exactly.
These days, anyway.
The other salt, have you ever tried sea salt?
I've tried sea salt, and I like sea salt, yes.
Yeah, that's one
I
thing that
especially
we
love it in
transition
seafood.
with, like fish
Yes.
and...
So
Okay.
we mix this up. We're going to just put the rest of these onions in here.
I love it. And then
And we're ready to eat.
you're gonna spread it on the roti.
You don't spread it on. You scoop it with the roti.
Uh-huh. Okay, now what type of... Anything else part of the...
Well, what we're going to do with this, there's two ways you can have it. You can have the straight eggplant, or what I did earlier is I grilled some tomatoes the exact same way that I grilled the eggplant. And the same thing, take the skin off and mash it up, and it looks exactly like this.
with the garlic.
This is no garlic in it, just raw eggplant straight.
To tomato.
So you can do it two ways. You can eat it separately, or what I like to do, because the tomato has that little bit of a sour acidic taste, so it really complements the eggplant.
Because it's roasted.
I like to mix and they're both roasted. So I mix the two together. And I have some prepared, just eggplant alone, and I have these two together. So I want you to taste both, and I want you to let me know
You sure
which
we
one
have
you
enough?
like the best. We have enough.
We get.
And
That'd be
this
good.
tastes, I like it this way better.
Yes, it's so
But
colorful.
it's quite awesome either way.
Yes.
It looks yucky, but it tastes delicious.
No, who said look yucky?
Well, you know, most people don't go for like mushed up things.
No, but you know what? But when you know that it's
It's
made,
very good for you, I can
it's
tell you
very
that.
good for you, and I think.
And as you can see, it's actually quite fast too. I think we did it in less than 15 minutes on the stove.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the question is, if somebody has an electric stove versus a gas stove, how would we roast that eggplant?
Well, I used to have an electric stove, and what you can do, you can buy these things that you put on top of it. It looks like a little metal rack, and it fits right on top, and you can do it the same way. You have to use higher flame, though. You have to
Got
put
it.
it on the highest setting, but it'll work.
All right, well, dig in.
So our dishes are done.
So
Our
for
roti
all
is
of our guests-
finished.
Yes.
Our eggplant and tomato and straight eggplant is finished as well.
Okay.
So what do you say we dig in?
We can. So, for us, as if we were diabetics,
Yes.
after I eat all this, my biggest goal is to kind of disseminate this to the world. They should know what their sugars are like before.
Well, most diabetics hopefully will check themselves before they eat, so they have an idea, you know,
Right.
how
But
high they're.
moving forward, I think with every meal that we're going to learn how to do and prepare, I think they have to really understand is to monitor their sugars after the meal is just as important.
Postprandial is very, very important.
You call it postprandial.
Yes.
I heard it called post-meal. I
Same
heard
thing.
it called, post-sebum, or it's in Latin too. So 2 hours, right? Is that the
2
magic
hours
mark?
is 2 hours is the recommended, absolutely.
Got it. All right, so healthy beginnings, healthy eating, great opportunities to learn different cultures and modifying. This is probably the healthiest things we could prepare for you guys today, but find the wisdom in better cooking, find the wisdom in good friendships, and motivate each other to take good care of ourselves.
Would you like to take a taste?
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to the table, shall we?
Sure.
We're going to set the table and get everything prepared. Since we've cooked all this delicious food, why don't we share it with someone?
Let's do-
My 14-year-old son, Nived, happens to be home from school, so why don't we invite him to share dinner
That'll
with
be
us?
great.
Nived, would you like to come and join us, please?
Let's see, test our
Have a seat right here.
test our cooking. Made you some food art. Hopefully you
All
like
right.
some oranges.
Can you pass the eggplant, please?
That's great.
There you go.
Thank you very much. This is just the straight eggplant. Now, this
Right.
pepper on top is what we talked about, the really hot pepper.
Right?
So be very careful. But I know you can handle
I
spicy.
can handle it. I can handle it.
You can definitely handle
And you're
spicy.
here, so if I need any help, ooh.
It's hot.
All right, so be careful.
Nah, you
Is
can
that what you're
handle
trying
it.
to tell me?
You
Okay,
can
good.
handle it.
Thank you.
Would you like some, sweetheart?
Yes, please.
Okay.
The oranges didn't do it, right?
Now, I also want you to try the one with the tomato mixed in
Yes,
there.
yes, yes,
Because
yes,
it has that mix of the smoky grilled plus that sour
Right.
consistency. So it
With
has a
the
little bit of a
tomatoes.
different taste, yes.
Good. Great. Now this you could have with your tea, and I'm interested if you're going to be adventurous. We're going all over the world. Right now we're in South America, and then in my part of the world you go to Europe.
Okay.
So
That's your roti.
that's
You
my,
get the nice one.
the swollen one.
They're all swollen.
This is good.
The way you do it, it's just
Not too much.
cut and scoop.
So not to make a pocket, just to.
You can make a little pocket.
Can I make a little pocket?
When you swell, absolutely. You can kind of do it like a pita pocket.
Right. Fantastic. Very, very good. I like the spicy one actually.
This is really good.
It's really good.
The one with the tomato gives it a little bit of a sour taste, so it's a little more acidic. But it's a nice change in flavor.
It's really good.
Have you tried the tomato one yet?
Not yet. Wait.
Okay.
Tell
It's a
me.
different thing. I'm going to try this actually.
Try this.
Because this is kind of bread.
Wow. Yeah, this pepper does really give a good kick. So,
Yes, it does.
well, that's actually better because I've learned that capsaicin in the peppers, people that are living quite long. So it's something to be said, like reducing blood pressure, and maybe you said satiety, some kind of satiety center. So this way.
It does. Capsaicin is also a known anti-inflammatory agent, so they say it's for people with arthritis.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you like my little concoction too.
And it also speeds up your metabolism. So.
Bring it on.
Bring it on for weight loss.
That's right. Well, I think it's moderation. I think everybody should know that if they make small changes every day and stick to their cultural base, I'm not gonna start tomorrow and eating something that I'm not used to. And I think our comfort food comes from our parents, so if we're used to eating this, we should continue.
Sure. But I think we can all find healthier ways of cooking things.
Right.
And definitely, portion control, very, very important.
Like you modified.
Absolutely.
Whole wheat roti instead of regular roti.
That's right.
And I'm only gonna have.
And I didn't put oil on it because in some places in India, they would slather oil or ghee on top of this and it would become very fattening. I don't do that.
I love it. Yeah. No, Navid, how's the food?
Really good.
You can't say it's bad because it's really good. That's great. All right. Well.
I'm hungry.
That's good. That's also, the food is always better when you're hungry. That's great. Now the tea, and I'll bear farewell to everybody. So thank you for your company. Thank you for your appetite.
Thank you.
And
here's to healthy eating and healthy living.
That's right, and healthy beginnings. So we start with breakfast today. Next dish is going to be lunch.
Excellent.
I'm going to learn how to do that. Thank you all once again for joining us for another installment of Finding Wisdom. We are very much thankful for allowing you into your homes, and we cannot wait for another installment. Like we said, lunch is next, and learning more about diabetes from our amazing experts and wonderful, wonderful friends. So thank you again. Till next time. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.